You're
Are we
live.
on?
We're live. We're good to go. Yeah.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you all so much for joining. This is the MSA YouTube channel, and this specific online panel event is our first one advertising and helping to kick off our anticipation of the 2026 ConFab, which is going to be in Conway, Arkansas. And if you haven't already added it to your calendar, please open up the calendar, add it now. It's going to be October 2nd and 3rd. And again, we're going to be in Arkansas. My name is Letitia Bahuyo. I have the honor and pleasure of being on the board for Mid-South Sculpture Alliance. And one of my roles I have on the board is I get to chair and work with the online panels committee. On that committee, we also work with Brian Massey, who is at Arkansas, and Cassidy Fry, who's on with us today. Hey, Cassidy.
Hi.
Cassidy is also a board member and is also based in Oklahoma. I'm in Norman, Oklahoma. Cassidy, where are you?
I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Nice. Well, and Cassidy has had many a role within MSA and is a repeat offender or a repeat fan or something, and continues to come back. And we're so grateful that Cassidy is now a new full board member, professional board member, and has joined the online panels team to be able to bring these events. With online panels, our goal is we recognize people can't all attend our events. You can't necessarily get to the exhibitions in person. But with the online panels, we try to encourage more people to be able to connect and be part of our network. And so if you go back through our channel, you can watch a lot of the other activities that we've recorded, the different lectures that we've had, and the past events that we've been able to have together. So this channel continues to grow, and today we're growing by featuring, as I mentioned, ConFab 2026. We also have it online with us, board member Deidre Argyle. Hi, Deidre.
Hey, how are you today, Letitia?
Doing great. Thank you so much for joining today. Deidre is a board member and is also a part of the ConFab team. What role do you have on the ConFab team this year?
I am a co-chair with Brian Massey for ConFab 26.
Nice. And how's it been going?
It's been going good. We have a lot of exciting things coming up for this year that we're looking forward to sharing with everybody.
Nice. Anything in particular that you want us to keep our eyes out for?
Well, we're going to have 5 exhibitions. 3 of those are currently have live calls, which we're going to be talking about shortly. We'll have multiple demos and workshops, a student award presentation, and one of the exhibitions is of our student award winners. We will also have the Master Awards and dinner and lots of networking opportunities. So ConFab, as we were discussing right before you guys got on, is a small, intimate discussion. So we're expecting, I don't know, maybe under 250 people to come. And that will just provide like a nice small place to meet people. It's super friendly, and we hope to see everybody there.
Excellent. And I look forward to seeing you there as well. And Deidre, when you're not helping coordinate Arkansas's ConFab, where are you based and what is it that you do?
I'm Associate Professor of Sculpture at Missouri State University in Springfield.
Excellent. Thank you. And with all of those projects that Deidre is describing that ConFab is bringing, the one main one that we're kicking off our conversation with today is with our keynote speaker. Our primary lecturer for ConFab is Beili Liu, who's with us today. Yay, Beili!
Hi, everyone, and thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, and we're excited to have you as part of our team, and we look forward to being with you in person in Arkansas in just a few months from now. But to give people a heads up, if they aren't familiar with your work, which seems impossible to me for somebody not to be familiar with your work, I really admire everything you do, and our connection obviously goes back decades as far as our overlaps, but continuing to be able to witness your work, the communities that you reach, the different locations that you've traveled to weave together, it's just inspiring. And having you as part of our team for keynote speaker, that's going to be so exciting, so very exciting. So today we've asked you to share a little bit about what it is that you make and do. But before we get to that, where are you based, and what is it when you aren't being keynote speaker? What do you do?
So I'm based in Austin, Texas. I teach at UT Austin, and I've been here for 18 years now. So it's been a really good run. I make installations and performances. So I chose to show you guys just one project in depth and a couple of other images, just give you a little bit of introduction to my practice. And then, of course, at the keynote, I will share my practice in depth.
Excellent. like what you were talking about earlier, I was lightly joking about it as a trailer. And by going into detail in one piece, like going to the movie theater rather than giving everybody a little of everything. Of course, people can go and check out your website, but it's not hearing the stories. How is it you've discovered all the different paths that you've taken, and how is that your material works in that space? So with that said, would you mind going ahead and taking over the screen?
Yes, absolutely. So let me share screen. Can you guys see my window okay? Okay, so for over 20 years, I've been making installations and performances in recent years. My work has dealt with cultural memory and the experience of migration. So this first image you see here is the type of house I was born in northern rural China. And I'm gonna jump ahead to how my early life experience influenced this particular project that I'm going to show you. In 2006, I was at Juror Foundation for a residency, and I saw this beautiful barn. And the particular architecture and the way the light influenced the space inspired this project titled Recall. As you can see, it's a remembrance. It's a returning to the memory of that small adobe house that I was born in rural China. This idea of our desire for belonging and shelter and this longing for home that I carry with me as an immigrant, but I know it's also a universal desire that's shared by many. And the title of our exhibition that I will be jurying is Mining the Material. And I thought this is a really good project to show you that everything I wanted to say is embedded in the very material you see here. The entire installation is made of 100% paraffin wax. As sculptors, I know you're familiar with the material, and it's very brittle. I developed a special process through experimentation and accidents and mistakes, and this surprising thing happened in the studio where I could pour molten wax in water and just carefully lift the wax up from the water, and then it stretches into these long strands. It can reach as long as 8 feet, so that these lines become the very element that I use to compose the installation. So you can see how it's soft and malleable, and within 30 seconds, it becomes rigid and brittle. The very fragility embodied the idea of the work, which is this longing, but it's not tangible, it's not touchable, because when you hold it in your hand, it will shatter into pieces. So here's the detail you see where the wax touched the water. It retains that memory. You know, I talk about material memory, and I'm thinking about during the show and using this as a prompt for everyone when you're thinking about submission. So this is the very end of each of the wax strands. It retains that liquid that now is solid and suspended in space. So throughout the day, the light glides through from this very old ceiling that has all the damages, but it also introduced the outside in. It becomes this illuminated, almost mythical image of the home. I love how the work influenced people, the unknown of the material, the sense of space, this idea of protection, even though it's so ephemeral and it is so temporal. People's action becomes slow and their voice becomes softer. And that's why I love making installation work. And a couple of images to show you what the material looks like when it was deinstalled. We burned the lines from above, so it dropped onto the ground. As you can see, it shatters like broken glass. So a couple of other images, I'm not going to talk about these projects in detail, this reaching back to the Chinese scissors that embody the cultural memory and also the symbolic tension for female artists, and then making use of silk as this raw material to embed the sky and the light through the cyanotype process into these cloud forms, to speak to this ancient legend that I'd liken to the women's work of sewing. I'll talk about that more in the keynote. And then one of my earlier works, making use of needles and thread to talk about connection, this desire to belong, to be part of a community. So Those are some just touch on the surface images. And I want to expand a little bit on this idea of mining the material. I think the term in itself both reads as refreshing, but also it is something we're intimately aware of as sculptors, because materials are the very language for sculpture. And I see it, as you see in my practice, material has a voice of its own, and it is up to us to allow that voice to come through. So I encourage you guys to read through this, take a screenshot if you want to. It's some of the thoughts that I put together. Think about the narratives so the material carry. The material is a witness of time past. It's also a vessel of the labor we contribute into the work. I'd like to encourage you to think about material not just as a vehicle to deliver form, but they have agency and voice and resistance. They have a character that can really activate your sculptural pieces. I also included a quote here, very simple, and I hope this can serve as a good prompt for everyone's submission.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. When you were thinking about the title and the topic, mining the material, and thinking about the work that you shared with us today, when reviewing other people's applications, is there anything specific that you might be on the lookout for?
That's a wonderful question. So I'm thinking about how I work with material throughout the years in my studio. When the material can surprise me, that's when I feel that there is a great potential for that material to expand and be transformed into a work. If it surprised and moved me, I know then hopefully the work can move the viewers. So maybe I want people to, I don't know, surprise yourself and then surprise me if you can.
Nice. Definitely, material can bring a surprise. And thinking about this role that you have, so as we invited you to not only be keynote lecturer, we're giving you two jobs. You're also the juror for this thematic show, which is in the largest gallery of the exhibition spaces at University of Central Arkansas. And so we're asking, I know, extra of you. So thanks. We're so grateful for you to take on both of these roles, to both inspire everyone with how it is that you make when you're going to be sharing and lecturing, but then also this other part where you're seeking out a way to help people find inspiration in the material, or to explain what is it that they already been doing that might have that, and they're highlighting that within their application.
Exactly. And thank you so much for inviting me. I'm absolutely honored to share my practice. It's always a gift to be able to kind of tell the stories behind the scene. I do think making work is really a form of storytelling. And I'm very excited, looking forward to seeing everyone's submissions. Earlier, we were talking about this community is so important to all of us. As we work individually in the studio, this is an opportunity we can come together and to connect with, to network, to support one another.
So true. Did you always know that you wanted to be a sculptor?
I didn't. That's a great question. So Letitia and I know one another, I mean, 20 some years ago. And way back then at University of Tennessee, Knoxville, I was studying graphic design. But this desire to work in space, just it keeps coming out. And I actually went to graduate school as a graphic designer, but I had to be making installations and making forms. So I had to petition to the graduate program to say, could I please become a sculptor? I'm so grateful they let me, and here I am, here we are. Yes.
So you jumped ship while already in the program.
I did, but I think this true calling from space and form and material, it is what I know that I want to do. I had to discover that through going through undergraduate and then going to graduate school. And I'm like, wait, that is really what I want to do. So never be afraid to follow your true voice and your path. Do what you really want to do. I don't think I'd be a very good graphic designer had that stayed.
Oh, I have a hard time believing that. But I can recognize a sensitivity as far as a graphicness to some of your designs. But
That's true.
the care of material, though, just I know that this will come up more whenever you give your keynote, but back to like a little teaser. What can you think of anything that was maybe before even undergrad that might have been a hint of a desire of the type of making or engagement with materiality that was an early evident component?
Yes, I can answer this question. Thank you for asking that. And over the years, I have asked myself the same question. When did this all start? Why am I so attracted to space and material and process, working with hands, and just really playing and messing with material? I want to go back to the very beginning. I was born in a rural village. So I remember thinking, yeah, my playground is between earth and sky. We were kids just running around free, right? We didn't have plastic toys or anything that's commercial. So we played with sticks and mud and rocks. We were by the river. We hang out with farm animals. So it's this openness, this awareness and connection with space and a lot of space and the material that's so true, that's so connected with everyday life. It's nothing fabricated that's presented to the kids for them to play with. I think that is where everything started. I was, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years old, and it's put a seed in my mind and heart that later on I finally discovered it in my 20s.
Oh, that's powerful. Thank you for sharing that. And in a way,
Yeah.
it's like taking things that might not have been special or recognized, like you were describing, like how you grew up, but then through the care that you put into your work, like the paraffin piece you're showing a little while ago, how each of those combined together add in a specialness that by itself wasn't special, but the care adds in another
Yeah.
layer of information.
And also it's the idea of trying to discover how a material can do something unexpected. Thinking about we can mold with wax, but can you stretch it so long as a strand become a fiber? So I think that's, the inquisitive, I don't know, years that I had, you have these simple things, what can you do with it? Yeah, I do think that stayed with me all these years.
Nice, nice. Deidre or Cassidy, any additional thoughts before we move to the component of looking at the specific gallery and the call?
I'm ready to hear about the call.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't want to leave out if you all had any thoughts or questions. Again, Beili, thank you for giving us this information to help us understand what we could expect to hear from you in more depth in October, whenever you'll be sharing your keynote lecture. And again, this is ConFab. It's not a conference. The special thing that we were talking about with ConFab is the term ConFab means small, intimate discussion. So unlike a conference where there might be multiple panels at one time and you have to choose which room to go into, we're all together in one space. So we're all sharing the experience of listening to Beili share her story and what is it that she achieves and seeks in her studio practice. And then we'll be doing the same thing when we have our panel talk. And then we're all together having a dialogue and hearing from the presenters, first about the scholarship students, their panel talk, and then a panel talk also on digital processes in craft. And so those conversations will be going along the way until we get to our dinner and the awards that evening. So it's going to be a really lovely experience. But you can be a part of it too. How can you be a part of it? Our deadline is June 21st. Cassidy, would you be so kind to screen share the call? Can you make it? Yeah, there we go. Make it big. There. Oop. How's it showing up? There it is. Thank you. Thank you. So there we go. This is the little advertisement, just a reminder again, October 2nd and 3rd. Click. And here are the 3 current open calls. Deidre, could you describe each of these real quick for me? The green one is the one that we're talking about right now. Oop.
Yep.
There.
So mining the material, the open call that Beili Liu is been discussing the kind of the concept for is an open call for both members and non-members. There's a fee if you're a non-member, so everybody should join MSA because then you can apply for all the calls for free. The second call that we have open is the MSA Select Indoor Exhibition, which will be juried by Johanna Hutchison from International Sculpture. And that deadline is also June 21st. That's a more kind of open theme call, and she will choose kind of the work based on what comes in. That is for members only. So if you become a member, you can apply for both exhibitions for free. And then we also have an outdoor exhibition. We'll be selecting up to 5 works. There's a $2,000 stipend for all works selected, for Art Alley, they call it. And that call is due June 12th. So that's coming up fast. The jury for that call will be the Public Art Committee at the University of Central Arkansas that Brian Massey is serving on. So he will be one of the jurors.
Excellent.
The 2 indoor exhibitions will both be at the Baum Gallery, which we're going to be showing the floor plan here shortly. So, yeah.
Great. Thank you, Deidre.
Thank you.
And Cassidy, next.
And I'm going to jump in real quick and say we do
yes.
have info sessions to look for on June 10th for the outdoor one, if you need more information on that. And then we'll also have one with Johanna Hutchinson on June 17th for the MSA Select.
And we have one more call for art that's going to be coming out for student work. And that deadline will be September 1st. That call should be published by the end of the month. So that's what we're working on now. So if you have students or you're a student, you can also apply. And students are also able to apply to the outdoor exhibition.
And students can apply to the other 2 if you have a professional board membership, or not board membership, but professional level membership.
Yes.
And so there is a little bit of a level there that we recognize as far as involvement. And so not to say a student couldn't apply, but you have to make sure that you also have the next level up when it comes to membership. But yeah, there's many ways that one can be a part of this. And I'm especially excited about that student pop-up show, because one of the benefits is that the call doesn't go up until later, because with that, the students is a pop-up. So that means you bring the work with you to ConFob. It goes up for a shorter amount of time, and then you get to take it home with you. And so the other shows, though, are up for a longer amount of time, such as these 3 that Deidre described, but just to see it visually as the text goes. The first call, as noted, is the outdoor one. So that's due really soon. So that's due the 12th of June.
And that exhibition's a year.
What's that again?
That exhibition is 1 year.
Yes, the outdoor one's a whole year long. And then the 2 indoor juried shows, including the one we're talking about today, is basically a 1-month show in their gallery. This is what it looks like if you go to the website. So how do you apply? If you go to the website, Mid-South Sculpture Alliance, then you're looking for the exhibitions. That go to the exhibitions drop down. That'll bring you to this page, which has the mining the material, the description that Beili shared earlier, the quote from Anish Kapoor about material, sort of like really thinking about that care and the sensitivity behind what we create, but how that material brings its own voice to that object, to that form. An overview of the deadlines. Call is already open. Submissions are due by the 21st. We have a little time, so you can finish it up real fast, get it out of the studio, go and take images and submit. The artist will then be notified July 7th. So Bailey's going to be working hard. Let's make her work for this. Give her as much art to look at that she has to go through all the artist statements and go through all the details to be able to help bring together by July 7th, let you know if you were able to be a part of that show, if you're selected. Shipping the work and all of the details about the exhibition are on that page. Eligibility, you have to be 18 or older, and you may submit up to 3 artworks and have multiple images of each with a maximum of 10 images. And as Deidre mentioned earlier, for this exhibition, you do not have to be a member, a $35 fee. Like more typical juried shows, you can just enter one fee and just be able to be a part of the submission and the jury selection process. But all professional members, which is a $65 a year membership, can enter this as well as all our other shows this year for free. Next. Oh, here's the floor space. This is what the gallery looks like.
So in this one, we'll be in Gallery 1. So, but during ConFob, we will be utilizing all the galleries that you see here on the board.
Yes, yes. And gallery 1, what's the square footage on that one, or what's the dimensions?
It's 41 by 54. So 41 feet by 54 feet. It's a big space.
It's a very big space, high ceilings, and as we were discussing about earlier about the requirements or what are the scales, what are some things that you can share with us, Cassidy or Deidre, about what you remember about the space, size limitations?
As far as the space limitation, no hanging work will be accepted. Everything has to be wall, freestanding, or pedestal based. It has to fit through a 6-foot bay door in a loading dock for max size. If it's pedestal work, the pedestals in the space are 30. The largest footprint is 36 inches by 36 inches. And then freestand, well, any pieces, make them under 175 pounds or make sure they're under 175 pounds so they could be moved. Is there anything I forgot there, Deidre?
I think you got it. Was there, I can't remember if there was a restriction on wall weight for pieces on the wall.
I think 75 pounds was the wall weight restriction.
That sounds right.
Yes, that would, taking down the wall would not be a target goal, no.
Let's not do that.
So that I find that it helps to know what the space might be like, and then you can imagine how big you can apply with. Because I know as sculptors, sometimes people tend to make things especially large, so they can be pretty good size, but you want to make sure that you're watching that. And delivery in person, there are dates for delivery in person versus shipping. And then the exhibition ends at ConFob, so you can take it home with you, or we can ship it back. You just have to have all of the shipping components ready to go. And next. So when you click that apply button on the website, this is what you're going to go to. It's a Google form. If you are not a member, you then just email Chelsea Mulder, who is the administrative assistant for MSA, and take care of the payment for that entry fee. If you are not currently a member and you would like to become a member, or if you are a member and you may have not paid lately, you can then re-up and then take care of that. So that way you can click yes on the membership and apply. Artist statement wise, keep in mind what Beili has shared about the topic and theme of this show, and include an artist statement about your artwork's concept and the relationship to this theme. No more than 400 words, so be kind to Beili. And help explain what is it that you view. How is this a material component part of what you've been mining within the way that you've put together this work, or what you've done to gather materials? It just depends on how you're seeing your material. Material can be, it could be more traditional sculpture material, or it could be non-traditional sculpture material, but how is it that you are mining that material? Any thoughts more about that, Beili? No? Just checking. And so that, along with another text part, is the artist biography, so 100 to 150 words in length. So let Beili know a little bit about who you are, where you are. And this information, both the artist statement and the bio, become part of the information for the catalog and for the wall text in the gallery. And so make sure that those are all connected together. Here's information. As you go through the Google form, you'll see the details about what to submit, about the images, about how to save them, and details about how big the files can be, no more than a megabyte. How to title it, please help with that, because if they're all titled artwork, then it makes it really hard to download and to be able to categorize. And so please go ahead and include your last name and the image's title, and then number them accordingly. So help us out there when it comes to helping Beili to be able to cull all of those together. And then include an image list, please. And so on this image list, include details such as the title, the date it was completed, medium, dimensions, weight of the artwork, description of how the sculpture would be installed, and then optional description of the artwork. If there's something else that needs to be explained, this isn't another artist statement, but if there's a description about the piece that might not be clear in the images, that's what that one's for. That's optional, but it's not another artist statement. But it's sometimes I just recognize you have to explain what might be in the image that isn't quite clear because you're not with it. It's the hard part about sculpture sometimes. The experience of seeing the sculpture in person is what we're after, but to be able to see it in a screen, we might need your optional description. And then save this whole thing as a doc format as the artist name and title image list. This is to be one file. And then lastly, a reminder yet again about the dates. So the outdoor exhibition, don't forget, Friday, June 12th is its deadline. And then for this exhibition that we're discussing for the jury of the mining the material, that exhibition or that submission deadline is Sunday, June 21st at midnight, Central Time. So figure that out for the other time zones. And then also that same day is when the other juried show is also due. So get all the files in and ready to go at the same time. Great. And with that, I think we have a few people online. If we don't have anything else that we want to make sure that we put on the table, any other thoughts or questions? Check my chat.
I have nothing in my chat currently. Oh wait, suspended. Can work be suspended? It cannot be suspended. No suspended work in the space. It is a fire hazard, unfortunately. So, but
you could, right? Beili, any thoughts about like how could one get around if the piece it might need to be suspended, but you can't suspend from the room? What would you suggest people think about?
So if it's necessary, consider engineering a structure that can support your work, and that's considered freestanding, even though there are cascading elements from the support structure, perhaps. I think that's what comes to mind.
Yes, yes. So maybe it's like a 2x4 structure that it turns into like basically you bring your own small room, or maybe it's a pop-up component, like almost like a canopy, but without the canopy roof, and then you can make it yeah. And so maybe it's an arm that comes out and maybe it suspends off the wall, still under the weight limit of the 75 pounds for wall hung, but maybe it's something that attaches onto a wall. So think about a way that you could still have something suspended if that's necessary for the way to experience a piece and the material needs it, but see if you can engineer a way to be able to bring it in so it's quote unquote wall hung or freestanding.
Yes, and I think suspending from the wall, there are a lot of possibilities. It's an engineering challenge, but you can definitely have things come out and that's falling down in a way. It's suspended, but coming out of the wall.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then something like that, if need be, that's something else that could go in that optional description that could help somebody understand, like, this would be, while it's holding the piece up, I don't think of it as the material of the piece. It's more of like a frame. Yeah, nice, nice. Any other thoughts or questions showing up yet?
No other questions in the chat currently that I can see.
Cassie or Deidre, any questions that you have for Beili while we have her captive in this Zoom room? Oh, I have one. Sorry. I know I just asked them for questions and here I come up with one. When looking at images of someone else's work and you're jurying it to select and knowing that people can have more than one image, anything that you would encourage people to keep in mind as they take images or select images, and maybe things to avoid that might be your own jury curatorial pet peeves that you're like, I don't like it when I see this.
I think the number one thing, we review graduate applications, we look at job applications from my institution. You really want to have good documentation. I think it does the work justice. Hire a photographer friend if you need to. White balance, you don't want your work to show up too blue or too yellow. Just put your work in the best light. And because we're working with sculpture, obviously we want to see the full view, but definitely some good details. And make use of the description, give me some hints on, these are the things to pay attention to. This is the intention of the use of material or the form. Yeah, that's what I can think about.
Excellent. No, that helps a lot.
And if there's anything that we mentioned, all of the information as far as the limitations of the space is in the call. So if you missed that here, you can always look at the call and the information's there for you all.
When it comes to the artist statement part, Beili, is that something that you feel is an addition on, or that it's maybe how you might find more information about something, or is it not important? Like, how do you view the written part?
I think in this case, since we have two statements, I think the project statement is actually really important. The artist statement will introduce a general sense of your practice. I'd say shorter is always better when we're looking at maybe a few hundred submissions, I'm imagining. So you really want to get your point across and write from a genuine place. I find those writing to be the most moving, the most informative. And the project statement, we want to support projects that's conceptually really sensitive and has a good focus, that's clear and strong. So your project statement is a really important place to put down at least a few sentences of what the work is about. How did you make use of material? What is your process of mining the material? What did you mine of this material? What story is it telling, perhaps? That will be really good. So in my mind, I think they're both important, but the project statement really speaks to the work you're submitting, and your artist statement be concise and introduce your general practice.
Nice. That helps to know.
Yes. And longer is not always better, just for any application.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Longer is not necessary, yes. And so there's the statement that's about the work, and then there's the bio statement. Yeah, that one might not be as helpful, but it's still good information. But the care to help connect to this theme. And so it's something that helps open a door.
Yes.
Doesn't replace the artwork, but can also almost in a way be another material.
Absolutely, yeah. I do think our writing is important. Share with me something that's not visually obvious, apparent right away, especially if there's considerations that's multi-layered.
Mm-hmm. A personal story, or maybe if they have been collecting this, where they've been collecting it, and why is this material important to this thing that they've made.
Or even a brief mention of the process, like how did you accomplish this mining or transformation of the material? I love to read that.
Oh, good. Oh, it's wonderful. This is going to be so exciting. I can't wait to see the show and all of the components that we're going to have in Arkansas when we gather together. Well, with that, Deidre, any final reminders for folks about ConFob, about Arkansas?
Well, one thing, ConFob registration is going to be opening soon, within a month. So keep your eyes on that and make sure you apply for the exhibitions. I think there's a lot of great opportunities. That's one thing MSA is really good at, is providing professional opportunities for our members and sculptors at large. So join us, come have fun, get your work in front of Beili, and let's see what you're making. I'm excited.
Excellent.
Wonderful. And maybe just a reminder that this can be viewed again on the YouTube channel. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yes, this will be live. So then that way, or not live, but the recording will be able to be seen. So while we're live right now, all of this will be something that people can review. So maybe you're even watching right now and you're going back reviewing, what was it that they said was important again? And so maybe it's the evening of June 20th and you're trying to finalize it. And then this is an opportunity. This is a resource.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So informative.
More online panels coming soon. In the meantime, keep working, enjoy the summer, stay cool out there. Later. Bye.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Okay, I ended the stream. We're clear.
Yay! Forgot to tell Beili to stay on, but anyway, that's right.
It's okay.